Hi, it's me, Rasheed, coach, speaker, and author. And for this special Catch the Coach this month, I wanted to talk a little bit about trust, going with your instincts, changing things up a little bit. You know, this thing about trust, going with your instincts, going with the flow. What can happen a lot of the time, and you may well have seen, I've touched on this in some recent newsletter episodes. I've talked about things like life beyond goals and roles. So I wanted to kind of follow this thread and look at, what happens when you trust, when you follow your instincts. What I want to invite you to do is to perhaps pause. You might want to pause this video and stop and think about all the times in your life where you've trusted your instincts, when you've listened to your inner voice, when perhaps you've gone in a different direction than everybody else, when something's come along that perhaps you weren't planning, but perhaps it opens new doorways and new pathways. Or even there might be something that you were planning, but something else shows up, and therefore it's unfolded and evolved in different ways. I sometimes actually say, if I look back on my life, all the differing things that I wanted to do, I pursued. So on the one hand, it was very, very, very conscious. The very first thing I wanted to do from when I was a kid, from when I was about 9 or 10, was to write books, to be an author. I wanted to write novels, books, stories. I ended up much later not writing novels and things, but the goal about becoming an author happened later on. I kind of wanted to work in something that kind of linked to journalism. I did that, worked in media as a press officer, as a communications manager. I wanted to be a singer and performer. I wanted to be successful, and the success, big time success, didn't happen. But I pursued it, and I created music and performed. I had the goal of becoming a coach. It happened. And a motivational speaker, all of these things kind of happened. But I could look back at exactly the same journey and say that each thing that happened, it was kind of by chance in many ways. The very, very first career I know I wanted to kind of do something to do with journalism, but I remember I went for 3 interviews. It just happened to be the one to do with media that I got. When it came to the singing and performing, I pursued it, but part of it had come around because I was surrounded by some people who were in music and who were in dancing, and that made it feel as though that was possible. And a lot of the coaching career, and lots of things that have happened during the coaching and speaking career, lots of things have kind of shown up. So what am I saying here about trust, instincts, and so on? And how have these things played up for you? I think that for me, what's happened at each particular point in my life was really just listening to that inner voice of what really resonated with me and what didn't. And so again, I want you to sit with this. What is it, if you stop and think about your life right now, what is it that really resonates with you? What are the things that you're doing right now chime with you, sit with you, feel right for you? What of the things that you do sense as though they're falling away? This can happen because it's that season, isn't it, where things begin to start falling away, shifting away. So what's falling away? And that perhaps doesn't seem as relevant or resonant. And what things seem to be unfolding? Because sometimes when the leaves and the things fall away, you see what it is that's there. The raw branches of who you are and what you're about. But maybe also there are new things that are emerging. What is it? What feels truest to you? And what's it going to require for this chapter in your life? Is it going to require courage? Is it going to require humility? Is it going to require being still and silent? You know, my tip of the month is all about being still, centered and silent. I have this saying that if you listen quietly enough, life will whisper its secrets to you. And for me, in the times of change and so on, that's what I've done. I've always listened to that inner voice about what feels right, what way should I move? Should I move left or right or not move at all? So I just really wanted to just put these things out there, that thing about trust, instinct, intuition. I remember very early on, that's where my career in coaching began, really, in many ways. When I wrote my first self-published book, The Gift of No Success, it was all about all of these things, trust, instinct, flow, energy. And isn't it interesting, I'm coming back to these things to put on the table to you right now. So I want to begin to kind of wrap up in a way. Where is it that you're at right now? When have been the times in your life when you've trusted your instinct? Gone with trust, with instinct, what was the result? Perhaps you might want to think about the times when you didn't trust your instinct and what was the result there. What's been the fruit of the times when you've trusted, when you've used your instinct? This can be really powerful when you realize, actually, you know what, this happened. This shift happened in my personal life. This happened with my friendships. This happened with my relationships. These are the things that happen in my career. When we can begin to see the intelligence behind instinct, intuition, chance, happenstance, magic can happen. We can't always kind of rationalize how it is, how it shows up. So again, just in case it's useful, you know, for me as a singer and performer, I often say that 1 minute there's no idea, next minute there's a song. So just because I can't see something doesn't mean that that thing can't become manifest. So for me, I'm used to trusting the unseen, the unknown. You know, if you think about, that's where most business ideas start from. 1 minute it's not there, the next minute it's there. Children could come from there. 1 minute it's not there, the next minute someone discovers that they're pregnant. Not necessarily the next minute, but you know what I mean. So, as I was saying before, this is the thread of this line of life beyond goals. Goals have their place, but trust, energy, flow, and these things are really, really, really important, and they're really important to trust. And I'd say that if you're at a point where there's a lot of change, if there's a lot of transition, if there's a lot of uncertainty, sit with this. Don't be afraid to come back to this area. The unexpressed, the unmanifest. You might find that there's magic there, that there's freedom there, that there's a little bit more thinking space there and possibility there. Just want to send you lots of love and wish you all the best. Do feel free to join me for my last events of 2021, and keep the date the 30th of November 3. I'll be coming up with more details about that, but keep that date free. All the best to you.